what's going on? So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to dive into recipe books, and I'm going to kind of, I don't know, maybe change your mind about some things that you've been investing in for a really long time and just like blowing money on, just one recipe book after another, and then looking up recipes. And just what we're going to dive into today is, are books worth it, or are they just like a waste of money? So my name is Megan. I am the CEO and founder of Valkyrie Fitness Nutrition. Just got a fresh cut today, so I'm feeling really good. But what we're going to dive into is something that the fitness space, and just like coaches and everybody in their mom sells a recipe book at this point. My clients get access to this one, and then I typically add more to it. So right now it's got 60 pages in it, which isn't anything crazy. Like, I also have other ones in the course that they get access to for life, which has like another 200 pages or more, whatever, of recipes. So, when you guys buy into recipe books, and you guys can write this in the comments too, like, do you feel like it's helping you? Answer that question for me, because if you feel like it's not, then this is going to be great for you, because I hear and see so many things when women come into my program. They want like lots of recipes, or lots and lots of like resources, which is great, and we give them so much resources. Like, for some people it's overwhelming, but again, they have access to it forever, so it doesn't really matter. But at the end of the day, like, people get really caught up in recipe books, right? Why do we want them so bad? Why do we feel like those are the answers to our prayers for nutrition? Because honestly, I'm going to break it to you right now, it's really not worth it. So let me see. Hopefully I can pull this up. I don't even know what's on my... No, I don't want that. Document it. Alright. So, I'm going to put my little microphone down. I wanted to hold it for this one, because honestly, I feel like for most people, you guys think that recipe books are the end-all be-all. So I'm about to break it. I'm going to break it down for you. Recipe books are there to give you options, right? But what happens when you have too many options? Let me close this door real fast, because these bugs are so loud. So what happens when you start having too many options with your nutrition, right? Like, how many of you guys have recipe books that are downloaded to your phone or to your computer, and you haven't seen them or used them in years, or you have them in your kitchen and they're just collecting dust? Probably a lot of you, because what do we think? We think recipes equals fat loss, because what we're told or sold to is, buy my recipe book, right? Buy a recipe book and you'll lose weight. But that's not all the truth, right? That's where the big red flag starts coming up, because how many recipe books have you invested in? 5, 10? How many recipes have you started looking up on Google? 20, 30, 100 different recipes. You have a bunch saved on your TikTok. You have a bunch saved on your Instagram. If I'm calling you out right now, drop that in the comments underneath the video, because I get it. Like, it becomes overwhelming. Nutrition is overwhelming, right? And this is why so many of you guys get caught up and stuck, because you believe that nutrition needs to be overly complicated, when really what we want to do is we want to simplify it as much as possible. So here's my trick for you, right? If you do have recipes that you like and you enjoy, I always call them like staple meals. So for me, I'm going to show you my staple meals in a second, which are my burger bowl. I do a lot with the chicken, like a chicken fried rice recipe. Alright, just bear with me. And I have like a couple other ones like that I kind of use in my recipe book. My wife just made a bunch of different ones too, so we've been using those. I got to add those to the book so my clients have access to it. But these, like, we're just going to use 2 examples. So here's where the disconnect comes with recipe books, right? You're like, I got to buy this recipe book, and then I start eating like recipe 1. We'll just call it R1 for breakfast. And then you're like, okay, now I gotta have R2, which is like a lunch one for lunch. And then you're like, okay, well, like, now I need recipe 3. And this is what a lot of programs do, right? They give you all these fucking recipes to follow throughout your whole program. So now you're just like looking at this stupid recipe book, and then you're trying to like make dinner for all your kids and you just work 10-hour plus shift and you're like, what is going on, right? I mean, if that has happened to you, same thing, drop that in the comments so I know. But it's very, very common, right? Like most programs make you follow a million recipes. I give my clients recipes just for like funsies, right? For shits and gigs, honestly, because do they need them? Not really. Because what you should be learning when it comes to recipes is how to make it fit into your current nutrition. You see what I mean? So you're making all these recipes, and what they want for you is to like feel confused, because you're like, okay, I gotta make this recipe. It's like, it's like these little egg bites I gotta make every day because that's in my meal plan. And then for lunch, I gotta make this like chicken salad wrap, and then I gotta make it with like this, and this is on the side. And then for dinner, oh god, it's like, I don't know, some other recipe that you're just like getting tired of making. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to confuse you into believing your recipes have to be in your meal plans. They don't. They really don't. So instead what we do is, obviously we give clients recipes, and I give them like over 300 different meal guides with like some of my recipes are in there if they want to like copy it. But what you should be learning is how to pick one of those recipes if you have like I said, a zillion recipe books, and making it work where it's something where you can get consistent with. You see what I mean? Because what happens is with most programs is like that's your day one, right? Day one. And then whatever happens with day two, right? This is resonating with you, just let me know. You're doing recipe number 2 breakfast, because now they make you make all new stuff. And then recipe number 3, which is for lunch, and then recipe number like 7 for dinner. And then all you're doing is like you're constantly making all this new stuff. You see what I'm getting at? Like, you shouldn't have to make a bunch of new things in order to lose weight. That's not how things work. But that's what the fitness space wants you to believe, and that's what a lot of coaches that are selling all the recipes want you to believe. Because if you realize that you don't need to do that, I mean, you're just breaking out of the matrix of the fitness space, honestly. So this is why most programs, they overcomplicate it, right? What we want to do is we want to simplify things. So here's what you do. If you haven't seen one of my past my past videos here, the last one I think I did maybe like a few nights ago was how to make your own meal guide. And I kind of go into this where you're using a recipe to like hit your goals. So what you need to do first and foremost, if you have a zillion recipes, is let's pick one and incorporate that for the week. Just one. Doing too many recipes is overwhelming and it's exhausting. So pick one, and then plan it into your day. So for instance, you buy a recipe book, and like I said, it's like egg muffins or something. And then it usually tells you like the calories, and then the macros with it, right? So if you use that and you plug it into your nutrition, that is something that you can use for the next 2 to 3 days. So what you need to do now is just fill in the gaps with the foods that you already typically eat for your lunch, your dinner, and your snacks. It's not as complicated as it kind of sounds. It's usually a lot easier when you start to plug your stuff into MyFitnessPal. And like I said, if you're confused on what I'm talking about and you haven't watched how to make your own meal guide, like that I just did the other night, go back and watch that video because it's going to be a huge help. But in my opinion, overall, buying into recipe books are good if you need a different amount of variety. But if you already have a gazillion recipe books that you haven't used, buying another one isn't going to solve your weight loss problem. What you need to do is learn how to manipulate those recipes to start helping you with weight loss in a way that fits for your day. You see what I'm saying? So for me, all right, let's say normally, like I'm like this. I got my egg muffins, and let's just say, together they're like 400 calories because like all these recipes books are the same. They're like 400 to 500 calorie, somewhere around there. So I incorporate this, and then my next thing, right, is lunch, and I use a meal that you already typically eat. So like ask yourself, what do I normally eat for lunch? right? So I usually do like a burger bowl because I'm just lazy. And then dinner, I just got like little stuff for like pizza. I know this is gonna look like junk food, but like, Megan, why do you eat like a child? But I'm just trying to give you guys an example. But let's say you make like a little pizza, and let's say that's like 800 calories, and then the burger bowl is like, I don't know, 500. And then we have the macro breakdown with everything. The goal for you is to make sure like you can use the egg muffin recipe for more than one day, because you see when I scroll up and programs make you follow a million different recipes each and every day. And this is another thing I hear too. People have bought into programs and they have their meal plans with that, and then they tell me it doesn't fit my macros anymore. And I'm like, what do you mean it doesn't fit your macros anymore? They're like, well, like, because my weight changed and everything, so it's not calculated to what my macros are anymore. This is like another, and I'll get into this like in another video. But that stuff doesn't matter, because here's the thing. I teach my clients, let me go back, my meal guides. I teach my clients how to use every single one of these meal guides from 1,200 calories. Let me scroll down. Hopefully this loads. These ones are a little extra. I'm trying to look like at the other ones. Some of these are like gluten-free and dairy-free. Hold on. I'll try to throw them at the end. Anyway, to like, this one says 1,700 to like 2,300 calories. So what I mean is, like, you guys don't need to keep buying into things. Like, some people will buy into recipe books and it's like, recipe is for 1,600 calorie diet, right? Here's the thing. Like, anyone can buy a 1,600 calorie diet recipe book and make it work for their macros, no matter what those macros are. So I hope this is all like being explained the correct way. If it is, just drop it in the comments below, like, yeah, I understand, or like, I'm not sure. Because here's the thing. You don't need separate folders and files and books and meal guides for every journey of your life. You just need to learn how to manipulate those foods for your new goals. For example, like, if I have a recipe book for, like I said, those 1,600 calorie diet, I know how to make that recipe book work for me, who's someone that eats like 19 to 2,100 calories. All it is, you just need to learn how to manipulate those foods for your goals. The the thing that most people, and I'm probably gonna make a lot of coaches mad, but the thing is like, the reason why the fitness space is such a, it's such a big, it's $1 billion industry, is because what they're doing is they're trying to trick you into believing that there are separate ways for you to lose weight. There's different areas. There's different food that you should be eating, when it's not a reality. All food you can learn how to eat in order to see weight loss. So when you if you guys ever bought into programs and you're following it, and like I said, it's got all those recipes in there, it's just a huge waste of time. They're just trying to keep you stuck in the loop of confusion because they want you to stick around longer. So, oh, you need help. Like, you're just really confused. No, you just were never taught how to, like, simplify things further. Another thing too is, like, people believe they need certain meal plans in order to lose weight. So let's say, for instance, years ago I bought a 1,200 calorie, and this is kind of off topic of recipe books, meal plan, because it was like a program that I bought. Now, past me, right, the young version of me that bought into that stuff years ago, I'm a lot smarter now, thought that I could only follow what it said verbatim in this 1,200 meal guide plan. That's the only way I was going to lose weight. I could have used that 1,200 calorie meal plan, and I still have it somewhere, to eat 19 to 2,100 calories. I just had to learn how to manipulate that meal plan. I know how to do that now. And that's what we teach clients. Teach clients how to manipulate foods for their goals, So that way, no matter what resources, information they have, I have clients using other coaches' recipe books all the time because they like the food. I don't force them to follow my recipes. I don't force them to follow my meal plans. I have over 300 meal plans they can use. We teach them how to use any food that they want in order to get results. So if you have like I have clients right now, I don't know, you probably seen one of my past client interviews. It was who was I just talking to the other day? I don't know. It was one of my clients I just offboarded. She was using her own recipes that she's been using for a really long time, and then we showed her how to manipulate those to fast track results. And she was like, holy shit, like I thought like I had to follow something like very strict, or I thought I had to follow a very specific meal plan. And I'm like, no girl, like you can make your own meal plans. And it's the same thing with recipe books. Like they sometimes they'll have the meal plans in them. You don't need to use those. You can at any point in time use any recipe on the face of the earth to get results. You just need to learn how to make it fit into your day, right? In order to hit the goals that you need to lose weight or gain weight or just like feel better overall. So, end all be all, I try to keep these as short as possible. Recipe books do not at any point in time cause you to lose weight just because of the recipes. Picking up what I'm putting down? They trick you into believing that if you follow their recipes verbatim, you'll see results. It's not necessarily true. You could follow one of those recipes and eat other foods that you like and you enjoy throughout the day and still get results. Okay? So I hope this has opened your eyes a little bit. It's pretty funny, like, I joke, but my goal in my program is to wake women up from the dream world that is the fitness space. Because for so many years, we're taught this is the only way to lose weight, and then you have to be very strict and follow this. And no, this is the way. You have to follow this way to lose weight, and that's the only way. We get put in these boxes in order to lose weight. We're told you need to buy this recipe book to lose weight. You need to buy my meal plan to lose weight. You need to buy, this, I don't know, what X, Y, and Z to get weight loss. You don't. You just need to be taught how to use any foods and any way to lose weight with what you like and you enjoy. So for us, we don't put women in boxes in terms of like how they should eat. We teach them how to eat. You know what I mean? So hopefully that helps a little bit. So end all be all of this video is recipe books. They don't do anything besides give you variety. They don't help you lose weight. They're not the end all be all. You buy some influencer's recipe book, you're going to get a couple, 20 or 30 recipes. But you're just going to look at them. You might try them, and then you're like, I'm not losing any weight. And then you stop following it. Because they're going to give you breakfast, lunch, dinner options, right? You don't need it. Stop wasting your money on buying recipe books. Same thing with ebooks. Ebooks will give you, like, kind of similar, like meal plans inside or meal guides. You don't need those either. There's a lot out there that tell you that you need to follow that stuff. Again, I give that stuff to clients because we show them that like how to use certain foods, and it gives you different ideas. But we don't tell them that they have to follow it. Okay? So don't feel like you have to follow a recipe book or a meal plan to get the results you're looking for. Okay, last but not least, so I don't even remember if I started this video with an intro, but anyway, my name's Megan. I'm the CEO and founder of Valkyrie. I've been helping, my team and I are a team full of women, prior first responders. We've all worked 12 to 48-hour shifts, and now we help women basically reach their fitness goals, whatever they might be. Everyone's is different. Without feeling restricted, we're actually helping people not feel restricted. I know a lot of plans say that, but they're still making you follow something very strict in order to get results. So don't, just be careful. Read between the lines. And then at the same time, like, we've helped hundreds of women in all these professions, from flight paramedics to doctors. I've had commanders. I've worked with three-letter agencies. I've worked with pilots. We've got a little bit of everything in here, and it's awesome. It's amazing. We're helping badass women across the country and overseas if they're deployed. And we're just really just, like I said, we're breaking them out of the system, because here's the thing, right? Last but not least, if a woman comes into my program and they're in the military and they're deployed to a foreign country and they're on a base, do you think they could follow a recipe book and be successful with their plan? No, they can't. I'll answer it for you. They can't. Do you know why? Because, like, they're living in barracks. Like, they're only able to get to the DFAC. And this is why I wanted to bring this up, because I want to show you that you don't need it. You don't need more stuff. You don't need more resources. You just need direction and education. And when you have those two and you put them together, you'll never look back, is the only way I can kind of put it. You'll never look back and go, wow, I can't wait to buy more recipe books. I'm just going to, like, collect dust on my phone, or, in the pantry somewhere. So our job is to pull women out of that, pull them out of the system, basically, and teach them that, hey, everything's going to work out no matter what your shift work looks like, or your life, or your job. You just got to learn how to manipulate foods for your goals. So, if this is something you want to dive into more, obviously, like, I try to teach you guys as much on my YouTube as possible, but you can text 878-666-9222. Text the word coach. My team will answer. Just kind of get some better idea on, like, where you're at, what you do for work, where you're struggling, if we can even help you. I mean, we've helped hundreds of women just like you, so it's better for us, because actually there are some people we come across that we can't help. So again, if that's something you want to learn more about, just text the word coach to this number, and we'll get a better idea and better sense where you're at.